So this is from a promise from one Alok to another. We shall do the best. Great. So we will start with a brief round of introductions. I have led digital marketing at GSK. I right now support my CEO on strategy. I would leverage both experiences and over to the panelists. So Shubhendu, why don't you say a couple of words?
I'm Shubhendu, and I run the global marketing for a company called Signity Technologies. It's a software testing services company. And so we do a lot of activities on digital, also offline, and we do a combination of that to make sure that we generate customers, we engage with them, and then we continue to stay.
Not many people would know your customers. Can you name a few of them?
So predominantly, we are working with the CIOs and VPs of Fortune companies, Global 2000 companies across the world. So we are based out of 13 different countries. Yeah.
Right. Bhaskar?
Hi guys, my name is Bhaskar, and I work with Google. I head the YouTube business and the video business for India. So as video is becoming mainstream, my job is to basically work with the Google leadership and the customers to kind of understand what is the best way to kind of drive the digital user journey for brands. So really happy to be part of the panel. Thank you.
Right. Mariam?
Good morning, everyone. Actually, good afternoon. My name is Mariam Al Afridi. I'm the Director of Government Communications of Dubai Economy. And my role is to handle the brand of Dubai Economy. So anything related to Dubai from an economic perspective, be it an FDI or an SME or exporters. So I handle all the brand related to the government of Dubai. And we promote Dubai internationally. And as well, I'm a PhD researcher in experience economy. So we'll be talking more about the experiences, how we engage customers and audiences in that. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Juhi Gorwara. I lead global marketing for Aricent. We're headquartered in Santa Clara, California, but we do have large engineering centers in India. I've got experience in B2B, B2C, and now with Aricent, it's mostly B2E. So we'll be sharing our experiences on the panel today.
Good afternoon. My name is Amit Sawant. I head the marketing, communications, and strategy for the Phoenix Mills Limited. I have a diverse background, 16 years of work experience, graduated from Janalal Bajaj, worked with gaming companies, retail healthcare, and now retail shopping. Would love to interact with you and love to be on this panel.
Yeah, I love the kind of diversity we have on this. So I intend to be a moderator as well as a panelist, and I will pretty much share some experiences from my experience handling consumer brands. As hosts, I think it's only fair we start with Mariam, and didn't mean to surprise you, but so let's talk about the experience of Dubai as a brand. And what do you do? What are the kind of experiences you try to create of Dubai?
Yeah, so Dubai is a unique brand. It's a city, but we have a city-level brand that multiple government entities, they interact together to create that unique DNA of Dubai. So from our perspective as Dubai Economy, we try to create specific experiences where we are more targeting towards creating or improving the happiness meters for our customers who are the business community in Dubai. So whomever is doing business in Dubai or an investor in Dubai or manufacturing from Dubai, exporting, re-exporting from Dubai, these are our target audiences that we're trying to interact and engage with and improve their happiness in dealing and being in Dubai. So we have different approaches in doing that. And we recently also launched a happiness lounge, and we have a star rating as well. We've launched the first government entity 6 stars rating lounge to Dubai Business Club to just handle the business people in Dubai in a different way. And we also introduced different technological experiences as well. I just shared that in Dubai now you can issue a trade license in 15 minutes only. So you can start your business in 15 minutes online. So these kind of technical disruptive innovation that we're adding and inducing the government with makes it a totally a pleasant experience for people to come and do business in Dubai. And we're also in the international rankings like the World Bank rankings, like the World Economic Forum competitiveness reports. We're ranking the first globally, actually the first in the regionally, as a destination, and doing business, and ease of doing business, and a lot of other matrices. And worldwide as well, we are having an advanced ranking, like the 19th and the 21st worldwide against 186 economies around the world.
Wow. And how do you hold it together? Because, you know, we are used to government institutions which necessarily don't speak with each other. So how do you bring it all together? How do you anchor it to give a consistent experience, you know, because...
Exactly. So how do we work in the government of Dubai? And this is exactly what I'm detecting in my PhD thesis, is that we're too advanced. Actually, I'm trying to capture the phenomenology of what's happening in Dubai, because that's a model that should be taught and shared worldwide. Is that we have representatives from each government entity in a network called the Government Network of Government Communications. We have a strategic positioning with the direction of His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum, the UAE Vice President and ruler of Dubai. Allah yahfadha, inshallah. He is the one giving us those directions of how to move forward. He's setting those innovative, ambitious targets that to be number one. And then all of us, from his own perspective, would work in his angle. Like, for example, the Department of Tourism, Commerce, Marketing, they will gonna go and promote Dubai from a tourism perspective. They've launched several initiatives like the Dubai Way, where we also train the retailers Dubai-wide. So even if they're not retailers owned by us, but other businesses working in Dubai or operating in Dubai, they have to follow these kind of standards, so we could create a unique thing. Then you can have other government entities or semi-government entities, for example, like Emirates Airlines. It's our national brand that we're all proud of. They present our brand even before reaching Dubai. Then reaching Dubai and the experience of the Dubai airport. So every single entities from the chain, even before reaching Dubai, we also have the international communications and the international media diplomacy, which again, it happened that I'm a member of that network as well, where we promote Dubai internationally and dealing with international media, whether through crisis, whether there was like a political situation, which we, of course, all of us are aware of. We do handle these kind of media and awareness about Dubai internationally than within. So we have different stages in handling our customers or our audiences in a different way to take them through that journey all the way to really perceive Dubai as we project it or as we present it. So it's just what do you want to say about Dubai and how would people perceive us?
Fabulous. I mean, this almost sounds like Dubai Limited, and you know, I love the way it's run and lots for us to learn. I would, you know, want to keep asking you many questions, but only if I had to give Bhaskar a chance. So Bhaskar, how do you view the customer experience?
Yeah, so I think as you know, the number one principle that Google operates is focus on the user, right? And everything else will follow. So if you are true to the user experience, and that's what in today's day and age builds brands. So it really is at the cornerstone of everything that we do as a business across our products to make it more meaningful and you know, simplify their lives and solve problems at scale. I want to just give you a couple of examples on how we are thinking about it so that to bring it alive. So number one is the offline feature on YouTube is something that was uniquely conceptualized for India, because India was a data deficient country till probably a few months ago, right? So watching a video is a painful process. So for the first time, it was not a process, it was not a problem in the developed markets, but for India, the offline feature where you can actually offline your videos and watch it, even when the internet was not is not fully accessible, is such a massive hit, and it just got exported to like 100 plus markets very, very quickly. So that is because we are deeply listening to the consumers and stuff. And the second example I want to share with you is the recent product that we have launched again, which is an India first, which is a payments app called Google Tez. Some of you would have heard of it and using it. And Sundar actually has stated in the recent quarterly reports that the app has actually crossed more than 8 million users in less than 30 days of launch. That's because it fundamentally actually simplifies payments as an experience, right? For example, it uses technology like audio QR code. It's a QR code, but it's audio, so you just don't need to share your details with one phone to another phone. You just need to be in close proximity to each other, and one pays and the other receives, and then the transaction is done. So technology should actually simplify the user experience, and that's pretty much at the core of most of our products, and that's what makes people love Google products across the world.
Now, I can imagine it being easy for both your brands, if I may call it that, because huge monolithic brands and lots of consumers. I wonder how it works in the B2B space. So, Shubhendu, you want to say something? Yeah,
Definitely. So we are in the software testing business. Now, software testing business, when I look at it, it is actually for the customer experience, because once you have a software which is pleasant to use, which is robust, which is secure, that is when you are helping the user stick to the software, be it an app, be it a mega application. So we are actually in the business of helping our clients build their customer experience. And so that is the core essence of the entire company. So now that cascades down not just to delivery or operations, but it has also cascaded down to our own marketing team. Now, in the marketing team, what we have done is, so we are working with the CIOs, with the VPs, heads of ITs in different countries. First of all, their time is very limited in the sense they spend very quick amount of time deciding on something. They look through so we tend to make it as intuitive as possible in terms of how we lay out content, what is it that we suggest them. So what we have done is when they land on our website, the first thing they would be looking at is credibility. We might, as a brand, we might claim a lot of things, but how do we make sure that we are coming across as a credible player in claiming all of that, right? So that's why the first thing which you would see on the website is something which our clients talk about us. What is it that we have spoken in events? What do they feel about us? And so a lot of those aspects of it, and then once you click on that video, then it'll, and you have watched for some time, then you would actually see pop-ups of related area, white papers and things like that, which is coming up. We have built it in WordPress. We have made sure that we have used all the Flexi plugins and all of that. So we are trying to create an experience for the customer that without a lot of wastage of his time, without confusing him with a whole lot of information, we have tried to organize everything and present it to him in a
right.
great manner.
Now, different people, different CIOs will be in different stages of the purchase journey.
Sure.
So would you target communication appropriately, or would it be like some of the e-com sites in India, pretty much spamming us with the God knows what when I've already bought it a month ago?
Sure. Well, marketing has its own virtues and vices, right? So while we definitely use remarketing techniques, we definitely use that, but we are considerate in doing it for a limited number of days. At least we do it for 7 days, and that too, we cap the number of impressions of a particular ad when, how many times you can see the ad. Maybe.
Would it be state specific, as in somebody in awareness and consideration will have very different kind of info requirements?
So most of the remarketing or retargeting ads which we put up, those are to get into the awareness space. And we do not differentiate between awareness and consideration.
Okay.
Right? So once they are aware that we exist, If we pick their interest, if they have seen our differentiators, they would actually come over and browse through some more information. So we do not differentiate that. Where we differentiate is when somebody has an active need and he's looking maybe for a bargain. Right. If he's looking for a bargain, then there are pages on the website which talks about what are the kind of offers which we do, what are the kind of proof of concepts which we can do with them. So a lot of those interesting aspects then start coming in. So that is how we manage our experience with our visitors and like I said, about the customers. So we are in the business.
That's very interesting. I wish I had the same thing for Crosin, where everybody aware bought the product. And yeah, Amit, why don't you share something? Because you are a bit quasi. You are half B2B, half B2C.
Yeah, I agree on that. We just heard, Mariam talking about Dubai as a country. We heard, the technology part of it. I come from a very simpler business, which is brick and mortar retail. And not so long back, we were written off, in terms of a business that, the e-commerce will come across and, completely swipe us off away. They had created an experience, which was an experience of a convenience. And for us, we had to relook at our strategy. We had to relook at, how we operate. Long gone were those days when a brick and mortar retail organization would find a convenient space, bring in the relevant brands, and create an experience of convenience. The e-commerce people had, kind of a sabotage and created better convenience for, the end consumer. So what we had to do is evolve ourselves and create a next level of a customer experience. So a typical evolution was what we do at a typical shopping center. What kind of an experience can you create? What kind of an engagement activities that you can do? How a typical shopping mall can create as an alternate venue for lot many community things happening. Can it be a music destination? Can it appreciate art and theater? Can it appreciate smaller flea markets as a part of the overall brick structure? So all those evolutionary things were, discussed, debated, and, eventually put into a consideration. And now you see, the way the brick and mortar retail is evolving, it is giving a very tough fight for the e-commerce companies. They are not going the typical discount way, but what they have done is they have evolved themselves to create a next level of a customer experience. And that's what I would say, our job as marketers, our job as professional is to constantly keep on evolving ourselves to create the next level of a customer experience.
And how would you measure success? Would it be on outcomes? Would it be on some other parameters?
See, every activity that we do needs to be measured. A progress can only be seen if it can be measured. So for us, it's typically the relevant footfalls which comes through the center. The second one is basically the consumption of that center. Okay. The third thing is, yes, we do have feedback forms which comes from our B2B customers, which are retailers, which comes through and through. And definitely with the ongoing social media, there's a lot of interactions and engagement happening with the end consumer as well. So, keeping a tab of that gives us the relevant information that, is it been successful or not been successful.
Right, interesting. Juhi, so how does it work in your industry?
Yeah, so we heard about B2B, B2C, a mix of B2B. My perspective is more of B2E, which is business to enterprise. So we work with most of the largest technology firms in the world. What we do for us, customer experience translates into strong, long-lasting relationships. So what's really important for us is to combine user experience design as well as cutting-edge technology to give a holistic experience to our clients. I can slate a few examples that will help you understand and our audience understand the kind of technology I'm talking about. So Aricent was better known as Hugh Software earlier, and we've got as part of our business, we have one of our business units, which is Frog Design. They do the customer design. So when they started in 1982, the founder was specifically called upon by Steve Jobs to design the interface of the first Apple.
Oh, wow.
So the journey kind of started from there for experience design. Before that, the industry didn't understand how experience design or user design could really make a difference in the way people consume technology. And then after that, over the years, in fact, some of our current customers have taken it to the next level in terms of designing something as simple as a Disney Magic Band, So when a little kid walks into a theme park and you're greeted by Mickey Mouse saying hi and the name of the child, it brings in a completely different experience. And that's because of the technology that's behind it, because of how it's conceived with the experience and how the child can interact with the band itself and get experiences of where they want to go, which other characters they want to meet. Other examples could be things like the IKEA smart lighting. Now, it is IKEA simple lighting would just be, getting a bulb to light your house, but it's the experience of being able to control it from either your phone or when you're not at home, you want to set up a few things, get them going. That's the user experience that we can help provide.
Right. These are also very unique to the brand. You couldn't have done, you could have done, perhaps even for IKEA, the app like you did for Disney. And I can imagine making navigation through IKEA stores much more easier. But how do you prospect customers? How do you get them? How do you get them to start talking with you?
So the first interface to anyone looking for technology would be either a search through Google or somewhere else, or through word of mouth. And we go a lot by credibility. Arison today is more than 26 years old. But because of the nature of business, we don't go all out and brand ourselves directly to the customer because they're not a consumer at the end of it.
Sure.
So it's either word of mouth, or when people come onto our website, we do the regular things that most people do. There's retargeting, there's AdWords, there's a chatbot that responds to people, trying to take them to where they want to be taken on the page. We also do track cookies like most people do, and then show ads in their faces depending on what they're looking for. So the main areas that we work on would be product support services, digital design, software development, and a variety of other things based on what they want to do. So it's not like we would wait for someone to come to us with a problem first. Instead, our innovation teams, for example, would think about what they could do with potential customers, and then we'd go make a pitch stating how we can help them improve their lives and their end customers' lives too.
Right, very interesting. Yeah, I realized Bhaskar was talking about how they listen to customers and pretty much design something unique. Yeah, and we do a whole lot of that as well. So I can share an example of a brand. It's a brand that GSK has abroad, Excedrin. It's for migraine. And if you suffer from migraine, the problem is everybody thinks it's a headache. And the sufferer's problem is everybody thinks he's faking it, and it's not really a pain, and it's an excuse. So along with the physical trauma, he also goes through an emotional trauma of trying to explain migraine. Yeah. Now, thanks to all this technology coming up, we made it possible for caregivers to experience the migraine experience. Yeah. So I just will share a video. Could I have the video, please?
It feels like I'm going blind.
My mom,
My boyfriend
my best friend, my coworker has volunteered to
experience
my migraine through my eyes.
It's heartbreaking to see her in so much pain, and I've literally seen her get tears.
I wish I could take it on for you. I do. You know I do.
A migraine isn't just a bad headache. So using virtual reality, we've worked with each sufferer to mirror exactly what they usually go through.
They usually start with crazy blinking lights.
Floating spots.
Everything gets blurry in just one eye.
That's exactly what it looks like.
And challenged our volunteers to take on their migraine in a regular day.
You never know when a migraine's going to come on.
I've noticed that I'm losing vision.
The worst part is feeling off kilter. Any sort of bright light will make me feel like the room is spinning.
I start to see little dots, pops of light here and there.
The second that the auras start, everything else stops.
Whoa, this is so crazy. Oh my goodness.
Wow.
Oh.
I gotta stop that.
Oh my God. Are you okay? Oh my God. I'm so sorry, Annie, that you go through this. Okay. Oh my God.
You all right?
Oh my God. I don't even know how you function.
It's exactly what you just experienced, plus severe, severe pain.
I'm sorry that I ever doubted you.
You believe me now, right?
I have your back for sure.
Great. So if I suffered from migraine, I could pretty much download the app and share it with my family, and they could pretty much experience what I went through. Now, if you looked at the entire video, there was nowhere a place which said Excedrin works better than XYZ, or check with your doctor for which is the best migraine medicine. There was not a hardcore sales pitch. It was just about listening to the customer, understanding what was the barrier, and addressing it. We got sales. So we grew at 6 times the category, lots of visibility. So it's done very well for the business as well. So I think listening to the consumer or the customer really pays off. So we'd be very much interested in knowing how does Dubai do it? So how do you listen to your customers?
No, I will tweak it in a different way.
Sure.
Okay, so actually, one of the research that I've read, I'm actually working a lot basing my paper on it. It's the 4 realms of experience economy by Joe Pine. He published a paper in 1998 about experience economy in particular, and he shed the light on a new concept. Because everyone is talking about how can we create an experience. So he talks about experience into 4 different realms, where the customer could be immersed or could be absorbed in the experience. He could be active or passive. And there are 4 quadrants. So the first one is educational. So you're trying to educate that customer to attract him to be in the experience and to live the experience. So he is actively engaged in it, but he is absorbed. Or the entertainment. So that's the second quadrant, where he is passive, as if he's sitting and watching a musical being played. So that's an entertainment. So there is an experience that he's experiencing, but he's not within, he's outside. Then the third realm is the aesthetic, where the ambience makes a difference. So with virtual reality, you made him, no, actually that's the escapist, the 4th realm, where he is immersed and actively engaged within it. So now, with the advancement and whatever we've been all of us doing, customers towards customer-centric, customer experiences, engagement, designing those experiences, brands designing those brand experiences, service quality, and that's also moving towards experiences. Okay, so how can we create those experiences and immerse and get that customer in there by co-creation? So the new examples, like, for example, Apple Store. So the one just recently opened in Dubai, I guess 2 months ago or 3 months ago, where they had a lounge and come and sit and experience the product before even buying it. Okay, so come and interact, come and tell us what you say. So that's from a brand perspective. Us, as if I would take again the model of Dubai government, we interact with people by, for example, we introduced a hashtag called MyDubai. So visitors, people living in Dubai, anyone would go and take pictures and share his experience about Dubai on that simple hashtag on social media. You can now go on Instagram or Twitter and type My Dubai and see how many hits it recorded. And most of them, they're sharing their coffee, they're sharing their sports activity, they're sharing their city activity, just saying that we're there in Dubai, we're loving Dubai, we're doing this with Dubai. So Dubai became a brand that they're attached to. So that kind of engagement and attachment where he is part of it, where the customer is part of it. He's not being, we're not treating people that we're Dubaians and you're not. No, you are part of Dubai. You are Dubai. All of us, we create Dubai. So this is how we are growing and evolving, and this is how people externally are viewing us as a brand Dubai.
Right. It's very interesting. You're saying about how you are co-creating Dubai with the audience. Yeah. And that's an interesting spin, and would be very keen to know how do others do it. How do you co-create your brands with your audiences? Or do you have what is called very fashionably super audiences?
Sure. Yeah, so two questions. I'll just split it up.
Okay.
So first thing is, do we co-create? As a B2B company, do we co-create? And if yes, then what? So a lot of our work has been regarding routine IT software testing services. Now, when we say that, even getting a touch point with the customer is on a very limited basis. We have the delivery teams, we have the SPOCs, so they are the points of contacts. Now, while that is one way of looking at it, what we have done is that every developer or every tester who is actually working on a project, we have given him the onus to speak to the person from the client side who he's working with, requesting feedback on a very regular basis, maybe on things, whatever he's doing on a day-to-day basis. Because one thing which we have realized in the last 3 years, I mean, there was a rigorous brainstorming exercise saying that how do we innovate and all of that. So that's when we realized that it has to be from the people who are actually in touch with the client. Even if it's a small team lead, he has 3 years of experience, he's working on a testing project, and he's working with a client. Now, to co-create, the scope will arise only when the consumer or the customer is involved. If they are involved in telling us what problems their users are facing, that is when we will be more alert and we can design our cases, we can design. So we have a thing called as a requirement traceability matrix, RTM, and so we test that also. So when requirements are coming in at the software level, so we test that as well. Now, from our perspective, we are expert in software testing. For us to become an expert in that industry domain, to understand the pain of the customers of our client, it is very important that we open up all our moments of truth, wherever we have, whichever level it is, understand them, try to get inputs from them, co-create, and then say that, okay, this is how the requirement should look like, whereas this is not what the user has given, even though it is the business user. So that is the value which we are bringing in, and it has started working out well for us.
Right, so you would pretty much treat all your clients in the same level.
Well,
each one is important.
Definitely, each one is important. Like for example, if I can, I would not like to name the client, but so we have about 60 people working on one particular project. And there are many projects where we have less than 5, 6 people. Okay. Now, when we say that we are taking inputs from each of these clients, definitely yes. When the inputs are coming from 5 people and all of them are different, when the inputs are coming from 60 people and everything is different, it's very difficult. Yeah. But when we spot a trend for a particular industry, we even take best practices from a logistics industry. And when we are working with another customer from the logistics industry, we say that we have worked on this and this is what has helped our client in this industry. Would you like to try that? So a lot of that has definitely helped us. And customers have opened up, business is good.
Good. Amit, how would you do it?
So Alok, I as a marketing lead have always believed in keeping things simple, okay, and that's what I work towards. So, typically in a brick and mortar retail space, what we've done is we've tried to appeal to the 5 senses, so which is visual, hearing, taste, touch, and smell. And that's how, we've been able to connect with our customers and our audiences. And as I said, basis this differentiation, we've created communities of people, okay? And those communities of people have their common engagement points. For example, a community of sports. Sports is a category in India which brings people of all caste, creed, community together. And they all look forward to cheering the sports. So we've created events which are, a sports screening, which creates a next level of consumer experiences. And this is completely new in India. To have a shopping center which is also a community which is celebrating sports. And we've been trying to appeal to certain sports which are also aligned to our businesses. Okay, and this is very much required for us because we've been handling a lot of footfalls every day. A typical footfall at the Low Parallel Center would be around 50,000, 60,000 people every day. How do you address to them?
Right.
So we've created categories and sections of societies along. So one is sport, the other one is music, the third one is cultural activities. You know, we do a lot with the literature and the theater part of it. People generally love shopping, so we create a lot of avenues for shopping. So for example, today is the Black Friday sale. So you go to our Low Apparel Center, you will get every brand, you know, giving a discount of more than 30%. So it's like you're creating a community of people trying to engage with them. And as I said, like, you know, we as the marketing leads also have to look forward for a return of investment. And ROI is very, very, very important. So typically in a media format, the way I pursue is, you know, we have 4 kinds of media. A media which is owned by us, the media which is paid by us, and the next 2 categories are a little difficult ones. A media which is earned by us, you know, which is when you create a remarkable activity and when people talk about it. And the 4th one, which we are talking today, is a shared media. You know, the shared media by our super audiences. Okay, so we've created a set of community for us, which is called the Citizens of Phoenix. Okay, these are the people which are our super audiences. They are the influential category in their perspective. They are the advocates, as Subhendu we were discussing in the morning. You know, they are our advocates, and our job is to keep those people engaged. And you know, for those people to start advocating us and sharing us on their media, you know, is the success matrix for us. And that's how we've been able to do, you know, in this current time period, and we're evolving to do something more on that perspective.
Yeah, Bhaskar, you have been wanting to say something.
Yeah. So, in fact, all of you know Google products. I would stay away from that right now. So, in fact, I want to just share an example of a brand which I have a great respect for, because digital is fundamentally changing the user experience forever, right? A lot of times, brands think that, okay, this is the way I do my current business. I would just layer digital on top of the current business to see and believe that that's doing true justice to the consumer experience. But that's not true, right? Take the case of Apple. Take the case of Starbucks, actually. You know, you go to Starbucks because it's the 3rd place, right? You want to have coffee and conversations. That's the core crux of their retail chain, which sell coffee. Now, they've observed something very, very fundamental change in user behavior. This device has become the 79th organ of the human body, right? So, what are the consumers doing when they're waiting in the queue to place their order? Any guesses? They're watching their phones, right? And what are they doing after they place the order and waiting for their order to come? They are watching their phones, right? So, the place was meant to have conversations and have a great time, but they're actually immersed in their phones. Yeah. So is this a disruption to the business, or is it an opportunity for a brand like Starbucks to co-create experiences, right? So here is what they've done. They launched this Starbucks app, okay, and it actually has a detailed customer data in terms of what kind of coffee, you know, what is that, what kind of cappuccino I would prefer, right? And it is actually fed into your list. And while you're walking out of your metro station, you can order your coffee. And by the time you reach there, your favorite pumpkin spice latte is ready, right, for the pickup. And then you're not waiting in queue. And also, you've already prepaid your order.
Yeah, so you have negative cash flow.
You have a negative cash flow. So by thinking like a technology company and actually understanding the user experience and redesigning their operations, I think they've been able to kind of turn more than 20-25% of their entire business actually happens on mobile app for them, right? And now that's thinking truly consumer first,
and
right?
To me, it's both. It's also targeting the super loyalists as well as changing the experience. Yeah. And it would be very interesting to know how Juhi and how you, Mariam, handle this kind of super users.
Okay, so through technology, I think physical and digital are somewhere merging now. And that in itself is a different experience for people of our generation. So a classic example of this would be a car manufacturer, Tesla, is now a technology company. And the way they are building their experiences is not just through a traditional car manufacturer would with the speed or the wheels or the gears, etc., right? They're doing it through artificial intelligence, virtual reality, analysis of data, and then building the whole user experience around it. So that's a classic example of how everything eventually is converging, whether it is your data, your analysis, and your physical, digital, all of it's coming together. And no more are brands or companies just one out of these. You can't just have a physical brand anymore. You've got to give a complete experience for which technology, of course, helps. And that's where companies like us and a few others come in play, because we help them create that.
Right. I want to ask you a question as to what would you advise a company like Disney, which is trying to do something for the super loyalist, and give you some time to think on it. But Mariam, how would you, for example, target people who shop in Dubai every year, or businesses which really do a whole lot of business in Dubai?
Actually, I want just to second on her words, but technology. Our government is really advanced, that we just appointed 1 month ago, His Highness appointed 2 months ago, last October, a Minister of Artificial Intelligence, the first minister in the world.
Wow. Okay.
He's His Excellency Umar Al-Ulama.
Okay.
And we also have a Minister of Happiness. So we're targeting the happiness, we're targeting the profitability and the...
Right. Do you have a Minister of Digital? I'm desperately
so artificial
looking.
intelligence. So this tells you that we're really pushing our agendas. Okay, the government agenda, and especially, okay, and we also have the Government Accelerators Program, the Dubai Future Accelerators Program, where we're pushing the agenda of the government fast forward. So we have plans 10x to the future. We just announced the UAE 2071 strategy, UAE 2117 strategy. So we're into the future. We're fast forward. We're trying to transform the design of the whole experience of the UAE and in particular Dubai. And with that, our other government entity called Dubai Smart Government, where they're adopting the blockchain technology. We just also won an award as the best city, the first city that's applying blockchain citywide level. We had an award in Barcelona last week. And we're proud of that, being part of that as a government. And we're trying to create those kind of seamless experiences with anyone who's interacting with the government, whether he's opening a business, or he's going for a medical checkup, or he's walking in the park, exercising, so the detectors would detect him, and we're having preventive medicine on that. And moving forward with the transportation, we're having pilotless, we call them pods, a hyperloop, and all the craziest things that are happening, disruptive innovation as a government. So disruptive innovation as a government, not even as a firm or a business.
But this is for anyone. Would you have something special for a super loyalist of Dubai?
Pardon me?
Would you have something more specific for somebody who's really a big spender or a big business in Dubai?
Yes. We have the Dubai Business Club.
Okay.
Okay, that's a unique model where we are having all government entities under one roof to serve that particular trader. So we have, for example, the top 100 billionaires in Dubai accessing that business club. Okay,
Right.
so this is one thing. We have the Happiness Lounge, where now you as a businessman opening a business in Dubai, usually whenever the stereotype of entering a government department is bureaucracy with a lot of red tapes and a glass window to divide you between you and your customer or the client who is coming to check where are his papers. But when you come to Dubai Economy, you're going to see a Happiness Lounge with a Fouchon cafe, and you just sit there, and the government department employee or a government public servant will come and serve you.
Right.
So that's a twist of how we're dealing with people and giving them that kind of experience. You're in a coffee shop handling your government transactions. And you can stay at home and do your government transactions.
Right. That's a fabulous way. Yeah.
Just add on one thing.
Absolutely. So add on, and after that, we should open the floor for questions. Yeah, go ahead.
So all I wanted to just add, because there were so many use cases discussed, just wanted to tell one common thing which we all face. So we receive a lot of these emails which are unsolicited. That's a perennial problem. As marketers, I cannot do anything but to further increase the problem, because I am sending out, my team is sending out unsolicited emails to a lot of these prospects. Now, when you talked about blockchain in coming up and being adopted in Dubai, so that's when I was wondering, and this thing came to my mind, that actually there is a startup which is called BitBounce, and there is another one called earn.com. So if you have, if you are using any email address and you actually take up this service, and so then for every unsolicited email, the person who is sending you an unsolicited email will get a response saying that you are not whitelisted yet because you have not sent me an email before. So you can pay here so that it goes to my inbox, or it will land up in my spam. Now, this is a very small, the payment for that particular email might be like 10 cents or 15 cents. But imagine the power, the concept of this company, which is trying to solve a very perennial problem of unsolicited emails. For example, in the beginning of the session, we had a video when we saw that people hate advertising, right? Mm-hmm. So there are new models which are coming up using blockchain, which are awarding the viewers of a particular video in terms of cryptocurrency. I mean, it can be Bitcoin, it can be Steam, it can be anything else. But what it is now trying to do is, rather than paying money to the platform itself, the advertiser paying money to the platform for a user to browse the video free, I would actually change the equation. I would take out the middleman. I'll directly pay the viewers who are viewing the video, right?
Right.
So that's a great business model, and I believe the use case of that has stemmed from customer experience.
Have you applied it?
Oh, I am already in that.
Because right now, we just announced 1 month ago, just Google it, we have announced Mcash.
Okay.
Which is we're moving to cashless economy in Dubai.
Wonderful.
So that's we're going towards that, and in the next 6 months, you're going to see the results in Dubai. Hopefully.
Right. Let's open the.
Alok, just wanted to
go ahead.
Put an end to this whole conversation. So we spoke about talking about creating a customer's next level of experience, okay, and we also spoke about creating a super audience. But I personally feel that's only a half job done. Okay, once you create a super audience, the next bigger task or the next big thing is to keep that super audience engaged. Okay, when you have a super audience working for you, it makes your job easy. But what happens when the super audience turns against you? It might be very, very disrupting to the brand or for the company as well. So the next big thing for all of us is to create processes and systems in place to keep those super audiences happy. What we do at our end is, the super audiences which we have, the citizens of Phoenix, which we call them, they are the first ones to have the preview sale. They are the first ones who've been called for movie premieres. They are the first ones who get the first seats at the concert. So this is one way of we keeping our super audiences engaged. They're very simple, and easy. But yes, creating that system and process is, not that easy. It sounds simple.
I can agree. It almost seems like a virtuous cycle after some time. You have experiences, you have super audiences, and let them create the next level of experiences. It's pretty much what the B2B business is, and in fact, even the B2C businesses get intuitively. But you're right, we need to have processes to close the loop and continuously keep evolving.
So this super audience is very much handy to you, or comes very much easy for you when you're doing a disaster management. At the time of a crisis, you need a loyalist set of a community talking about your brand, talking about your business, talking about how 100 times you were right and only one time you were wrong. So that is something which needs to be handled with care.
Right, yeah. I can think of a brand. I think Maggie did a fantastic job of handling a crisis and using those super audiences to really share Miss You Maggie kind of videos. So that is another fabulous example. But with that, let's go to the audience. So would somebody have questions? And
This is Sairam from Signity Technologies. It's been a very engaging panel, I would say. Question is for the Google and YouTube team. Amazing products, needless to mention. So how has been the experience of customizing? I mean, Sundar's vision, we all know, is very regional to India. Some of the products that Google is launching, which are very regional language, localized to Indian content, localized to Indian audience, which I believe will be the next billion users that anyone would want to. So how has been the experience customizing that and engaging those audiences, maybe from the perspectives of the Tez app itself?
Yeah. So great question. I think today internet, depending on the numbers, 400 million people on the internet, and it is bound to getting to, say, 650 million over the next 3 years. And 9 out of 10 new users which are going to come onto the internet are actually going to be Indic local language users, right? Because pretty much all English-speaking people are actually exhausted. So we are deeply focused that markets like India and other emerging markets are very different fundamentally, and what works for the probably more evolved markets doesn't necessarily work in the emerging market context. So we have this new team dedicated to emerging markets called NBU, which is the next billion users. And that team really deeply invested in Indian markets to solve problems at scale. So Tez is actually one of the first products launched by that team, and there obviously like more work being done. And in addressing the language problem, so today input is a big factor. And Google, actually, we have launched 22 Indian languages, you know, in terms of the Google keyboard as an input. And we have, we almost have the Google Translate and the whole neural learning actually works for almost 12 Indian languages. So it's a big leap need to happen, both from the demand side and also from the supply side. And what we are solving for is actually the input side of it and actually the translate side of it. And if you've seen the kind of new products that are being launched, like the Google Pixel 2, which actually, which actually can translate 40 languages in real time using machine learning, right? And the use cases of that kind of a product fundamentally changes the dynamic, and language is now not at all going to be a barrier in the way people communicate from any country language to any other person in any other language. So a lot of work happening on working with partners in the content ecosystem in the Indic space to get the right assets on board and so on and so forth. So the NBU team is focused on launching many products, which is India first products being launched in other markets of the world. And also the whole Indic is a big focus in the way we're going to see the next billion users come in this part of the world. So.
I think it's also helping a lot of regional content producers flourish now. Yeah.
So for example, on YouTube, which is actually a language agnostic medium, the regional content, the South Indian language content, and it's huge. It's growing at more than 2 times rapidly than the Hindi content actually. So the creativity, this is a very diverse country, and give them a chance to express themselves, and I think they have lots to say.
Any other questions? Okay. Awesome. So no questions, so which is always a good place to be. I mean, what I take out is amazingly diverse businesses: retail, B2B, government, direct-to-consumer, B2C. And it's amazing how all of us are pretty much looking at using technology in different ways to create much better experiences. And as Amit was pointing out, we have super audiences, loyalists, advocates, potentially influencers as well. And identifying those super audiences and co-opting them to create the next level of experiences. I think that's the way to go. So thank you so much for being a patient audience. And thanks again.